Hi guys, this is DV Tough Survivor signing on yet another Saturday. Um, really hope you guys are enjoying. It has been an interesting Saturday for me. Anyway, I found some songs that kind of cover what goes on in narcissistic abuse a little bit. As you can see, I have my makeup on today in plethora. My children were helping out. So this is my look today thanks to their help. Anyway, welcome to DV Tough Survivor channel, where we cover all the topics, including the nog and the noggin. Now, here's a little something that might be interesting for you to think about. They can make you feel like the most special person on earth during those first few months. They make you feel like there's nobody else. They'll make you question your own reality after a while if you are not careful, if you let them. Now, here's the thing. It's all about power with the narcissist. Once they think they own you, once they think they've gotten to you, it's over for them. The chase is gone, the thrill is gone. So what do they need you for? Until they cannot find another supply. Now, here's another interesting tidbit. They're always sleeping with someone else. They are never faithful. They have never been single in their entire life. The Nogs, particularly, tend to be guilty about this. And that is what you call a guy in these relationships. It means the cobra, the male cobra, to be specific. The Noggin is the female cobra. I know this because his nickname for me was Noggin back when he found me to be interesting. It wasn't my fault. He didn't pay attention enough to know I actually am interesting. As for the case, I can't talk about it, but I can tell you that the name he nicknamed himself was Nog, and I was Noggin. Now, here's another little interesting tidbit that you may or may not know. Indian men tend not to respect women or even like them. Every 25 minutes, an Indian housewife kills herself. If she's not killing herself, hold on. I'm off camera checking out what's going on because there was an influx of fluid at my window just now. I'm making sure nobody is burning me. There have been threats. Now, sorry to have interrupted. However, my safety does come first, as you can understand. Hey, flash for 50? No, I don't do that sort of thing. Lovely to know this is my audience, though. Like I said, I literally do not do that sort of thing. I'm on here talking about domestic violence. Hi. And, you know, that is the premise of it. DV Tough Survivor, domestic violence. I also talk about trafficking, exit strategy, and other forms of abuse. So please, I appreciate you coming. Have some respect if you're going to be here. I would appreciate that very much. Quick question. What was the color of the person who did DV2 just doing a survey? That's really immaterial. You know, again, I can't talk about the case until it's over. But, you know, I can appreciate you coming on and wanting to know. And just so, moving on from that topic, because I really cannot discuss the case at all. I can't discuss that. But I can say he was from India. And every 25 minutes, an Indian housewife kills herself. In India, a lot of men have this attitude towards women, like they don't matter or like there's some kind of curse. And these men, you can research this. There's such a thing as breakfast murders, where the men actually will kill the woman because she added too much salt to the food or refused to serve him. Well, for starters, I wasn't taught to know anything about these people as far as their standing on what goes on. So I was sheltered, we'll put it that way, in a lot of ways, which is a mixed blessing. It's good and bad, depending on the situation. I can't say that there's any better options so far out there that I have seen in any race. Well, let's put it this way. Nobody really taught me those things about anybody. It was kind of like taboo in my family to talk about even how men are a lot of times. And I really do wish somebody had said something. I mean, it would have been helpful. You know, hindsight is 20/20, but they don't always give a sign ahead of time that they're going to be nasty. And one of the things is they do not exhibit these signs with certain mental situations or choices that they make, because they don't think they have you yet, they don't think they've trapped you yet, and once they have caught you, they think that, you know, it's safe to abuse you or even kill you. And these guys, they tend to think like women are property, and we're not property. And I do value this interaction. It is my mission to educate other people in this area so that less people get into these situations, because it's not just the men coming over here and using the women and abusing the women, it's also the females So pretty much you have to be really careful if you're going to be with somebody outside of your region, outside of your group, because if they're not American, they may or may not have the right kind of motive to go out with you, um, to marry you, and a lot of times there are sham marriages going on. There are different things going on right here in the US that a lot of people don't even know about, and it's really terrible, but that's how it is. Now, a lot of races do have where women and men are not considered equally, which is a shame. Because yes, we all have differences, but we also all have similarities. We all have humanity, and if they cannot manage to respect each other, then honestly there is no relationship. So if, say, somebody comes up to me now, they're not going to stand as much of a chance to get my attention or take my time as they did before. I was not one to go out easily to begin with, but I also was not one to want to waste time. So when it came down to it, I took seriously who took me seriously rather than take seriously the sleep around boys. We'll put it that way. Now, there's a certain level of respect required to be around a woman, and there are certain variant levels of respect to be around different types of women. Like, say, you're not going to go and probably, I mean, some people might, but you might not necessarily take a Saturday night girl to your mother right off the bat, unless she's a very decent type of woman who just happens to be in that situation, out of financial need. But you probably also wouldn't take, say, the preacher's daughter to a brothel, if you get my drift. There's lanes of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in certain circles. So when you meet somebody and they kind of seem like they line up with your values, then you're more open to it and things move faster because you guys are hitting it off. Oh, hey, they have the same values here. Oh, hey. But you know what? It turns out they observed you. They might have even stalked you or had someone else stalk you. And none of it was fate. Not running into you, not going here, there, and everywhere together. That wasn't sweetness. That was a stalker. So women really have to be extra careful because more women end up in these domestic violence situations than men, reportedly. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that there aren't women who do that, because there are. And a lot of men won't report it because that's a social stigma going on. But as a lady walking down the street, say you have to go from work to home, home to work, or you're going to see a friend, or you've just come from seeing a friend, you've gone shopping, whatever it is, You're picking up your child or dropping them off somewhere, you're going somewhere with your kids, you are more prone to be prey for these predators than a man. Because usually these kind of wimpy types that will attack a woman will not face off with a man at all. Because they know a man is better matched, better suited to obliterate them, and more likely to because of testosterone. Now, here we go. If a man hits a woman, they cease to be a man in my book. Any man who can lay their hand on a woman, especially with a equalizer, that's not manly. That's not masculine. And if you do that, you should be ashamed. Now, I know in today's culture, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, she just said something that's this or that. But you know what? It's true. Men and women have different talents. A man has more upper body strength. A woman has more lower body strength. A man cannot have a baby come out of them. A woman can. A woman can breastfeed that baby. You get where I'm going with this, I assume. Now, a woman is more emotionally connected in a lot of cases. Now, sometimes you get your men who are connected with their emotions, but mostly the men who are connected with their emotions are pretty rare. And a woman is more prone to cry over men. They're more prone to be manipulated. A man is more prone to, oh, a woman did one thing, let me walk away, a lot of times, except for those rare guys who will stick around and cry and all that kind of stuff and try to work things out. But most of the men out there that I've noticed anyway, they don't stick with women when they don't feel it's right. A woman will try and stay a lot of times. Now, here's where it gets into interesting territory. They say a man will sleep with a woman and it's not as deep, and that if a woman cheats, it's like this major thing. But that's not even true with some women. Some women have that kind of masculine sexuality, shall we say. And some women are actually faithful and never cheat. Some men, they say, don't cheat. But again, this is not blanket everybody. This is, okay, this is most people, right? So if you take into account they love bomb the heck out of you. That first 3 to 6 months, they are, oh, I love you, I'm in love with you, oh, there's nobody else. No, don't believe it. They're stooping somebody. They're sleeping with somebody. Whatever way you want to word it, they're effing, right? Because a narcissist is never faithful. And a psychopath is always a narcissist. Now, a sociopath is not always a narcissist, but they can be. So here's where it gets into some fun territory. What if you have a psychopathic narcissist with sociopathic tendencies? Well, my friend, you should be running, you should be changing your name, maybe even getting some plastic surgery, because yeah, you just got the trifecta from hell. And here's the thing. Bad Gamer 0123 you do have a point when you say that telling the truth is becoming more mainstream and acceptable, but not among narcissists. They don't tell the truth. And you won't stand a chance if they say they're telling the truth, because they're not. Flat out, they're not. And when it comes to dating outside of your race, there are a lot of complexities that you are going to notice, like the fact that a lot of other people have different customs, they have different ways they dress, different levels of respect based on that respect, but not necessarily actual respect, it's social respect. So when you get behind closed doors, you may be screwed. Now, if you end up finding the narcissist's secret by accident, or the sociopath or psychopaths, whether they're labeled or not, you can pretty well bank on that they're going to try and destroy you, either physically and or reputation-wise. So, my friend, my advice is, if you value your life, don't stay with that person. Get out of there as fast as you can. Say you happen to end up with somebody who is in trafficking or in the mafia, right? Or in a large family or church group that is, or any other kind of religious group, like they go to a temple, for instance, they're going to have other forces that are going to help abuse you even after the fact. That is called post-separation abuse. So, when it comes down to it, do you want to be abused? No. Do you like it? Not usually if you're a normal person, right? If you have those tendencies, you're usually in some kind of BDSM group or something like that. But even that has its limits, right? Now, I'm not into that, so... But for those that are, they take it on certain footing that can be revoked at any time. And I have known people who had some really out there ideas. One time I went to a doctor's office and this woman asked me if I was into BDSM because I am a survivor of domestic violence. And no, never, ever, ever would I be wanting to be in that position. I'm not into bondage, never will be. And the fact that I got to hear so much about it at that appointment was a little bit disconcerting. But, you know, to each their own, and whatever between two consenting adults is between two consenting adults. That's not my business unless it's involving me in some way, or I am having to intervene because it's not really between two consenting adults and I've been asked to intervene. So, that said, I have set up an organization, shall we say, that is involved in spreading awareness, and we are working hard. Also, there is a WhatsApp line for if you are in danger or in major need of rescue. You can write in if you're not able to reach out to law enforcement directly or nobody is showing up, you can contact us, but you do have to give certain information, including name, what's going on, names if you have them, and location if you have it. So some kind of contact info just in case, so that we can get somebody to your location. Now bear in mind with WhatsApp, you do have the ability to delete from your side, just delete for you only, and that means we would have the evidence for court, for police, for whoever, FBI if need be. But if you delete the whole thread for both of us, you're kind of messing yourself up. Now, here's the part I really love. I love putting these people in their place and helping the targeted people, as well as the thrivers and survivors. There is no excuse to abuse another human being. Not any excuse. Zero. Especially if they didn't do anything, if it's unwarranted, they have not tried to start anything, you don't lay your hands on them. You don't target them. And I do appreciate the sentiment from those that wrote in with something positive. Thank you. Now, a little bit about me is I am a person who basically, I have a very calm demeanor. I don't start anything, but I'm not one to sit back, relax, and get killed either. I'm not going to stay in that kind of situation, right? So for me, I am most grateful to God that I got out of there. Now, like I said, I cannot discuss the details. I can't say anything about the case until it's over. But what I can say is what goes around comes around. And I'm glad not to be that person. God is always watching. And also, I would like to add, when it comes down to it, it shouldn't matter what a woman is wearing. It shouldn't matter what her job title is or lack thereof. Every woman is a human being, just like every man is a human being. It shouldn't matter. Everyone deserves the mutual respect until they don't deserve it. Once they do something to hurt you, it's a good time to walk away. Now, I know not everyone will walk away, and I know not everyone is ready to walk away, so that's why I still work with those people who do not leave or who are not ready to leave, to better their chances of getting through it safely, as well as having the chance to get them out. It's important to pack your go bag, regardless of if you think you're leaving or not. Have that sucker packed. Do not keep it in the house if you can help it, or apartment. Keep it somewhere safe. If you have the means, it's a good idea to get a storage and put it there. But if you do not, try to find someplace safe, be it your work, be it a gym locker, You can't leave things long term in a gym locker, but you can during certain hours. Do not leave it where your abuser is going to know. Do not leave it where your abuser can get at it. Pack up all documents that you're going to need, whether you think you're going to need them or not. Take them with you. It's better, you can always dump it later. Take any children with you that you can. In that situation, if you are able to exit while your abuser is gone, I highly recommend that over leaving when they are present, because it can get very volatile. If you do not have the chance to leave with your abuser gone, and say they're trying to kill you, of course, get out of there if you can. But know this, if you don't take your pet, if you don't take your loved one, if you don't take your documents, any financial cards or cash, they're not coming out of that place. They're not going to be safe. They will be used against you in whatever way, and your abuser will use them to get at you, either using the system or otherwise. So, again, I recommend preparing in advance. Maybe even if you have kids, drop them off somewhere with somebody that you trust that is not part of that abuser's circle. Someone from your life, if you have access to it. And drop off your go bag, or keep that go bag somewhere else, you know? That way you can run. Maybe say, oh honey, I'm thinking of having a night with you, to rekindle things or whatever, while they're at work, so they don't suspect anything. Get your and get out. Seriously, there is no going back, especially if they've gotten violent with you. If they haven't gotten violent with you yet, it's only a matter of time if they are starting to cuss you out, control you financially, control what you can eat, wear, etc. Right? If they're calling you stupid, if they're putting down your looks, controlling who you can and can't interact with, going through your phone, deleting stuff on your phone, blocking people from your phone, cussing out, say, your business contacts or your friends, relatives. These are red flags. If you are finding that they've even gone as far as getting into your iCloud and deleting stuff, or deleting your iCloud altogether, if you have an iCloud or some other Google backup, yeah, watch out, because they might just get rid of you, like in a body bag. In certain circumstances, there is a zero warning, like I said, and, in those cases, usually the person has no remorse. They have a background that may or may not be documented, like where they've done it to someone before, be it in country or out of country, in state, out of state. If they're too calm about it, they've done it before. Just know this. Now, also another subject is traumatic brain injury. And when you have traumatic brain injury, it kind of scrambles things for you. You might even have amnesia or partial amnesia, and that can really screw you up. Just saying, when it comes down to it, you might mix up dates, you might forget to write half of what you're writing when you're supposed to be somewhere, or all of it. Yeah, that's a fun one. You might end up, forgetting you're supposed to be somewhere. You won't remember whoever or whatever at the time, what happened, or you might remember parts of it. It might come and go. For instance, if you have been strangled, then that can cause those things too. Not just blunt force trauma, but trust me, blunt force trauma can do it. Brain bleed can do it. So, yeah, when it comes down to it, there is no good excuse for hitting anybody unless it's in self-defense, third-party defense, home defense, say you're getting home invasion. Okay. Defense of someone you care about or see on the street and you want to defend who's getting beat up or robbed. Okay, I can see that. Raped. Yeah. Defend them. Absolutely. Children, defend them. Sure. Defend yourself. Yes. But to just go and mess with somebody or actively try to kill them, actively try to mess them up, those things are wrong. And there's no going back from that, really. Not one bit going back from that. And the thing is, these guys or women don't forget. So say you call the cops on them, you put them in jail, they're gonna remember it. They might act like they're sweetie in some cases, not all of them. But yeah, they're going to remember it and they're gonna try and take revenge. Honor killings. There's another sweet little topic for you. Many cultures have had different reasons for killing women over the years. Some more than others. Now let's visit India again for a second. Not to pick on India, because there are other countries who do it. You know, Hindu and Islamics alike do tend to do stuff like that. Religion is a really hot topic where a lot of women have suffered. Take Catholicism, for instance. No birth control. If you don't want to have 50 kids and you're not on birth control, but your husband is sticking it in, yeah, you might end up with 50 kids, especially if they don't believe in pulling out. Jewish women, they suffer a lot from domestic violence, and it's very hush-hush. Islamic women, same thing. Hindu women, same thing. Christian women, same thing. Now, I'm sure that there's a percentage of atheists who suffer from whatever domestic violence, but I don't know those numbers yet. Now, it's not just based on religion, sex, age, your beliefs, because an AH is always going to be an AH, and they are always full of you-know-what. Period. It's not like you can change them. It's not like you can count on that they're going to stop being an AH. And if you don't know what an AH is, go Google it. But the point is, if you pay attention, sometimes they might give some red flags. Sometimes not, though. So, I have to say, as a woman, being in a relationship does not tend to benefit us. I don't know one woman who has not suffered from some form of violence or some form of abuse in general, which is a really sad statement because I know a lot of women. I know some men who have suffered as well, and it's a shame. There are kids who suffer. Domestic violence refers to anybody who is in your circles. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It can be somebody like a roommate or somebody from your church or whatever. But if there is that kind of dynamic, usually though it refers to somebody who lives with you. Domestic abuse. Cussing someone out, controlling them, going through their things, taking stuff, stopping them from eating something, not for the good of them, but because you don't want them to be able to eat whatever to control them. That's wrong. And when it comes down to it, I will say this. God is watching. Whether you believe in God or not, God is watching. And, whatever God or gods or goddesses you believe in doesn't change the fact somebody is always watching you. If you don't believe in it or them, that's your thing. I personally do. Yeah, since this is my channel, I talk about that kind of thing. Now, why do I have on blue? Because blue is the color for trafficking. And I do work in exit strategy for trafficking as well as domestic violence. The color for domestic violence is purple. The month for domestic violence is October. The month for trafficking is January. Now, trafficking goes on and on and on. I'm not saying it's 1 month, just like domestic violence. But like breast cancer awareness has a month. Well, so do we, darling. Yeah, so do we. And today I have blue and gold on to represent trafficking and, stuff exchanged for trafficking. Now, to be trafficked, you do not have to actually leave your hometown. Did you know that? Most people think that trafficking involves having to cross a border. No, it doesn't. If you are coerced, forced, pressured into it, and money or goods have exchanged hands, be it shelter, be it food, be it financial, honey, you've been trafficked. I'll let that digest for a moment. Now, I am coming from a platform where I had a lot more followers than this, but he found me on there. And I left that platform as a direct result because I didn't want to go through that abuse. I did go on after just to show, no, I'm not scared of you, you're not running me off, but did I want to deal with that mess? No. Why should I? I got out. I don't even think about him because he almost killed me. And I basically am in this line of work. I was slightly into it before, but I am all into it now to make a difference. And if these people have the stupidity to harass threaten and menace, that's on them. And again, not my problem. It is what I have to deal with, but it's not my problem. After I get off, am I thinking about them? No. I'm thinking about food, or I'm thinking about what I'm going to do next, or I'm thinking about my family. I am not thinking about, hey, Joe Schmo, are you doing okay? Hey, can I reconnect with you? No. I want nothing to do with the person who broke my skull. I want nothing to do with the person who did all kinds of harm. Why should I? Now, not saying anybody is perfect. However, there are those who are better and those who are worse. And if you connect with the wrong person, it can really mess up your life. I have worked with women who have extreme trauma bonds, beyond trauma bonds really, and women who suffer from Stockholm Syndrome, sometimes Stockholm Syndrome with trauma bonding, and that is a heck of a combination. Also men, worked with them, although they're less likely to have the Stockholm Syndrome and trauma bonding than a woman, because women are more emotional in general and less testosterone laden. And yeah, okay, so maybe some people are gonna fire back with whatever. I really don't care. These are the facts, and you can't turn orange into white, you know? Orange is its own color, white is its own thing, so yeah. You can't say black is white and white is black and it be factual. You can't say orange is purple and have it be valid. I mean, you can say it, but it doesn't make it true. And if you think that way, I'm sorry for you, but I'm not going to entertain that kind of conversation. So these are just some things to think about. If you know someone who's being trafficked, if you know someone who's being abused, it's definitely not okay not to get them connected with somebody to help. Now, I will tell you this, if you go to law enforcement, if there are kids involved, there will be agencies involved in most cases. If there are family disputes and there are children around, there will be agencies. If you go to law enforcement or the hospital or the doctor's clinic, a lot of times they will contact agencies of different kinds, and in some cases they won't if they don't see it as needed, but some cases they are obligated to. Like, say if a child is involved and they get whatever, witness something, or they are put in some kind of danger, or have experienced something of the illegal nature, like say being trafficked, then they're not just going to drop them back with whoever they were with before. Now, in a lot of cases, there are parents who stay together for the children. Again, not really a great idea. It causes more damage than it does good. The children are always aware, even if you don't think they are aware. If somebody is being treated badly and treating somebody else badly, or there's tension, whatever secrets you guys are hiding, kids know. Trust me, they know. And yeah, so when it comes down to it, really harsh topic, but it's not a good idea to stay together for the children in a domestic violence or domestic abuse situation. It's valid, some people are not ready to leave, but you need to know the dangers of if you stay, it can be turned around on you. It can be turned around to where you may not have a chance to have your family. Like, say, courts are going to be hesitant to leave somebody with a survivor because they're going to most likely categorize in a lot of cases, oh, the domestic violence survivor is emotionally unstable or whatever, and they tend to gravitate towards giving the children to these abusers or to services. And yeah, so this is not in my case, but in a lot of cases. So yeah, have a good time about that, right? Think about that. Weigh this. Do I value my family? Do I value my pets? Do I value my loved ones? Do I value myself? Right? Versus, do I value this abuser? Do I value this situation? Now, in some cases, you are trapped and cannot get out. That is a different situation, different scenario, and there are people who can work with you to get you out. So, does anyone have any questions they wish to write on that are not to do with my case? Oh, and not to do with flashing. Either I can't believe somebody came on here and had the gall to ask me if I would flash. Just because I'm a woman does not make it okay to sexually harass me, and yes, it's sexual harassment if it's not welcome. And it's not welcome. I'm not some poster pinup or your blow-up doll. And I'm most certainly not your Saturday night. So, yeah. When it comes down to it, no woman should be put in the position. If she wants to do that sort of thing, you will see it on the camera, sometimes even before she starts talking, what type of woman is on camera. You see, everything is covered, except for the hair. Now, don't assume just because I have on makeup and earrings that that's what I'm out for. You should read the title of who is on. Let's see here. More messages below. Nothing new though. I like that term, suicidal empathy. I really do. You know, there is such a thing as a dark empath, which pretty much means you've been screwed with so much, you fire back. You are the narcissist karma. You are their checkmate. And that is some interesting territory for another day. Now, I'm not saying it's like, hey, narcissistic um, demons and empaths in that way, but certainly not discounting that a narcissist could be, demonically possessed. Demonic. Negative emotion resulting from it, whatever it is, right? So, whether you believe in demons or not, think about this. Do you believe in negative emotions? Anyway, it's been so much fun. I think it's time to put on some music. Write in the comments if you enjoyed this. I love what I do. So, boom.
Papa's Wings ahora en una versión mejorada.
Yes, I'm doing this off of a TV.
I wasn't always here, but
YouTube specifically. Which reminds me, I have a YouTube channel and I have TikTok, Lemonade. I was on Big O except for the abuse, threats, and D pics and P pics in plethora. Let's see.
Connect more and save more with Optimum. Keep in touch with Optimum Fiber, the fastest fiber internet at home, and enjoy the coverage you need on the go with Optimum Mobile. Get Optimum Fiber internet starting at only $40 a month. And now you can get an unlimited mobile line included for 1 year. Click now.
Get a large two-topping Crazy Crust pizza for $6.99 from Little Caesars.
pizza.
Wait
See you next Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's been fun. DV Tough Survivor signing off.